here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guest hosts or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello world, planet Earth, Gaia, our home while we're here on this spinning marble through space. One little ball that just sort of orbs around and does its own thing. And this particular galaxy we call home is Milky Way galaxy, and the many multi-galaxies in the large universe among many multiverses. And we have various ways of speaking about life after life. And many of us are enjoying each other's company while we're here leveling up, because it's all about who you are and how you fit in with your higher source and all that you learn about yourself and others while we're doing unity here together. And we have created something here over the years, and we are being broadcast out of New York by Blog Talk Radio, owned by Vox Nest, owned by the bigger company. With Spreaker is iHeart now. So welcome all our large family that helps us every week and every year. And it's all about time, space, and ourselves, our souls. So we're here to save souls, as most people have different groups. And we have started our own Ascension Cosmos Oracles Corp., which is a nonprofit that represents and presents Ascension Church Ohana of Metaphysicians. That's right, folks. We are unity, and we are metaphysicians. Now, we cover our tribe and team for all mystics, oracles, psychics, sages, seers, shaman, prophets who are leveling up in the change of life. We all work towards finding our place in space among the cosmos, and we all share in past lives as reincarnation. We live the lives as yogis have done in the past with today's new communication portals into various stargates. We embrace our rational, logical thought process and compare our heart, gut, mind, and power to heal our own selves by way of living with memories of who we have been in the past lives, and we can remember after death in this life. Life after life is an important part of learning. There are other parts of who we are in the growth process. Our lives are meant to be enjoyed and to explore and to obtain knowledge as wisdom to know how to survive while terraforming with other teams of masters in the cosmos. We embrace all levels of our life stories. We are forming teams of spiritual science teachers and life coaches. We share what we know and how we have come to exist in an important time on Earth, the Ascension Age. Right Rich is Pastor Rick, who is also an author and pastor of the Ascension Process as an ACE life coach with Teresa J. Morris. Richard T. Knight has been sharing his life with others as a universal life pastor for over 30 years. Teresa was ordained in a gold pyramid in order to embrace the Unity Church lifestyle. Both Richard and Teresa write their own books, and the spiritual journeys they assist in self-help books. Our journey is our own, and everyone needs to feel as if they belong. Sundays, we embrace Unity Core and the All I Am in wisdom and words. We each matter, and mind's own personal divination is a life with those who are deities and become and belong to our immortal family of gods and goddesses. Now, I've been asked to share a lot of who I am with some other groups, including some goddesses groups, which are coming back into the realm after many, many years of sort of lagging behind. And a lot of the light workers, we started light workers and truth seekers here years ago, and it really caught on big time for those that study like we did in the 80s and all the way back to the 60s. And we embrace love and light and wisdom and logic and rational reasoning And we have people that come and go in our reality, and, you know, it's like the Wizard of Oz. Who's behind the curtain? So everybody has a way of talking about that. But our group that we have formed with this radio station, TJMRCT Radio, is sharing Sundays as the Ascension Age, and the books that we promote and the books coming out in the future. And I'm going to bring on Pastor Rick Knight and let him introduce himself, other than what I've told you here. We both have a long life, but it's what we're creating together now, today, that's important for everyone to listen to. So welcome aboard, and I hope you enjoyed today. So thank you for joining us. Pastor Rick, is this you, Richard T. Knight of Georgia?
Yes, I be here.
Good.
And,
well, you want to talk about yourself for a minute?
Well, sure. I mean, I've had the advantage that when I was born, I was connected to Source, and I never lost that connection. So I was very gifted and aware with 14 senses instead of 5. I was abducted at the age of 5 by space beings, and they put a tracking device in my nose, and that tracking device was removed at the age of 35, so 30 years later. So, yes, I've had direct contact with alien or extraterrestrial beings. I am very, very sensitive and very, very aware of all that goes on and comes and goes around me in the spirit realm as well. So I have done lots of investigations paranormally. I have done lots of interventions in regards to psychic matters and occult matters and things of this nature. I have doctorates in theology, divinity, metaphysics, and religious science. So therefore I am very, very well educated. However, throughout life, I've had many, many excursions of all kinds of different fields. I've been a civil criminal investigator for over 40 years. I have had all kinds of different experiences with the supernatural, all kinds of different experiences in life in helping other people in all capacities and ways. As Pastor Teresa mentioned, yes, I have been counseling others for over 40 years, actually, in lots of capacity, mainly the spiritual end of things. I am very, very open-minded, very well-read, I love to write, and there are all kinds of different things in my past history that I have found very interesting, and that is why I am open and willing to share the same, in the hopes that it may give some kind of insight to others that may be going through similar experiences themselves. So I am a theologian, a philosopher, a mage, shaman, and I wear many, many, many hats, and it's all based upon not only this life, but hundreds, possibly even thousands of others. I am very much aware that there are more intelligent beings interacting with us on a planetary basis in our individual lives, telepathically and otherwise, and therefore, as we form this Ascension Church Ohana, we open the doors to all sentient beings, regardless of tradition, regardless of life path, etc. And this is basically a buoyancy of love that is coming out from us to be presented to the world in all capacities, forms, and means. Back to you, Teresa.
Thank you. Well, that was a good introduction. And yes, it's good to know who we are and what we've done. And I've written many books out there on Ascension. If you're interested, Ascension Age 2012 and beyond, and many, many others about Ascension out there. And they're all on my teresajmars.com. Look for the heading books, and they're all listed there. And I just sell a few here and there through the month, but I'm going to write one with Pastor Richard about this reality in this year. We're going to get this done, hopefully, on Ascension, but also we'd like to do one on our past in this reality with our other pastor, which I called again. Ken's sleeping, I guess. But his box was full as well, but we like to prompt him because he's our senior in our organization. But basically, For those of you listening, it's now Pastor Rick, Pastor Gwen, or Gigi, as she prefers to be called, and Pastor Ken and myself. So we have 4 main, 2 men and 2 women, oddly enough, that support or hold up this name and this reality and the 4 corners so that our tribe can meet. And we have many other avenues and portals and projects that we're working on. And it's wonderful to have many of you that are out there interested in what we're doing. So please stay tuned on Sundays. And I know many of you like to have your own insight through us as Ascension Prophets and do readings. And we will get back to that. It's a little taste that keeps people coming back. They like to hear the stories. So we're going under self-help as much as the paranormal and supernatural on Sundays, but this is always about higher source as God. And those of you that follow various different strains of religions, now many people in this reality, just so you know, are light workers, truth seekers, and then we have, life coaches, and we wear counseling hats, and we're practicing metaphysicians. Gods and goddesses are those deities that know they are immortal souls. And many in the past were really not talked about open air or open radio other than with supernatural and metaphysical spirituality, church-type evangelistic shows. But if you hear the different ones on television, they all have a truth. And most of them that are on that I can find on channels are of the Christian faith. And that is fine because Christ is an open portal. And we talked last Sunday, Richard and I, about the cloud that came over and said, "This is my beloved Son here, of whom I am well pleased." And so just depending on if you think of back in the day when he walked the earth, because as Ascension Prophets, we know he walked the earth. We have an inner knowing as we have past lives. So that is why healing yourself and going back in your past lives and memories among our past life, you can go into a transpiring part of who you are through hypnosis or just through your dream state, lucid dream, or ask your divine heart, mind, soul, body, God, inside you, your inner source, to please connect and send knowledge directly to you. We believe all of us in our religion of the Ascension Age are all divinely created. We're all parts of the divine spark of the original monad of logic and reasoning and math for all you polymaths out there. And all you scientists and quantum physics engineers or particle scientists, yes, we embrace spiritual science because that is where the road of logic and reasoning and rational thoughts and behaviors is taking us. Now, in self-help, Richard and I have been fortunate enough to work in education, but more so investigation and putting together security details before we had the internet. And I believe a lot of that has brought us together for knowing how to build a team and to create something that's everlasting here. So, Richard, back to you for a moment.
Yes, indeed. I mean, the Ascension Age is focused on the individual self-development. In other words, meditating, turning inward, connecting with the Christ consciousness, or whatever you wish to call your inner self or higher self within you, and that is the God spark that lives within you. The love that exists in your higher heart, and your higher heart has a voice just as much as your mind. And it is a matter of the higher heart taking precedence over the mind. Not that the mind is not useful, because actually you should be using both, because the mind provides you insight as to what is going on around you. It has hold over your 5 senses or more, depending on how well you develop your other gifts, such as your psyche and so forth. It is the inner mind and the higher self that in turn combine, and this is what is, you could say, your soul or your spirit identity. Now, of course, if we expand outward and then we start talking energetically and frequency and vibration, we are all unique beings of light, and we each generate our own unique sound, our own unique vibration, and so forth. And as a result of that, this is how we recognize each other. And